From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
An overnight hit-and-run crash leaves one man dead. Now at 4:30, what Metro Police say could help them solve this case. Plus,
more help is on the way.
This bill is a good bill.
More coronavirus relief takes a big step forward on Sunday. Working for you, we're looking at what needs to be done before more stimulus money makes its way into your hands. And
Christmas is going to be put on hold for a minute on our end.
2 boys injured in a Hendricks County crash remain in the hospital this morning. How the community is coming together to support them. It is 4:30 here on your Monday morning, the week of Christmas. Thanks for waking up early with us here in Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Alyssa Donovan is in for Todd Clausen this morning. Alyssa, good morning to you. What can people expect as they start a brand new work week?
Good morning, Lauren. So we do have a little bit of activity on the radar this morning. The good news is it's going to come and go very quickly for your Monday. We have this Clipper system that's approaching Indiana right now. That's just going to bring us a quick hit of a spot shower across central Indiana. By mid-morning, you're going to blink and it's going to be gone. And as it moves out, it's also going to take those clouds with it. So by the afternoon, we will see those clouds clear with some sunshine on the way later today. Temperatures are going to hover close to average in the mid-40s. We are going to start with the potential of maybe some fog this morning as well. Right now, temperatures right below freezing in Indianapolis at 30 degrees. As we head through the afternoon, we'll climb into those mid-40s. That's where we should be this time of year. We have much colder air on the way just in time for our holiday. All of those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic for your commute. This is over on the southwest side, I-465. A look here at Kentucky Avenue. You can see traffic there, and the interstate is traveling up to speed. Just be aware we have some ongoing road construction, intermittent lane closures along State Road 67 in Kentucky Avenue. As you get closer to the I-465 ramps, that's scheduled to last through New Year's. So just keep that in mind if you're traveling there in the southwest side. But overall, no crashes around the metro area at this early hour to slow down your commute. New this morning, Metro Police are looking for a driver in a deadly hit-and-run crash on the city's west side. Police say the driver hit a man walking on West Washington Street and Biltmore Avenue. It's directly in front of Wayne Township Fire Station number 82. The man died from his injuries at the hospital, and investigators say they believe surveillance video will help them determine the driver involved in that crash. Help is on the way for millions of Americans financially ravaged by this coronavirus pandemic. As ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, Congress finally striking a deal on a nearly $1 trillion COVID relief package.
After months of gridlock and failed negotiations, this morning a breakthrough in Congress. Lawmakers striking a deal on a stimulus package just hours before a potential government shutdown.
We can finally report what our nation has needed to hear for a very long time. More help is on the way.
The roughly $900 billion package is expected to include $300 billion in aid to businesses, $300 in weekly federal unemployment benefits, and $600 in direct stimulus payments to millions of Americans, half of what the government sent out back in the spring.
But after a long and arduous year, after a year full of bad news, finally we have some good news to deliver to the American people.
President-elect Joe Biden applauding the bipartisan agreement, releasing a statement in part, "I am heartened to see members of Congress heed that message, reach across the aisle, and work together." Single mom Renee DiCarlo, forced to close her business, says any help is welcome.
Every dollar matters to me. The more they give me, the more ability I'll have to get my life back in order. A little bit at a time, because right now there isn't enough to support myself or my kids.
But for many out-of-work Americans and those suffering economic hardship from the pandemic, help from Congress does not fully bridge the gap. Lisa Misrata is a hospice nurse. Her health conditions left her too high risk to work. A single mom already behind on rent. She's worried she won't make next month's payments either.
You know, I'm behind about $6,000 in bills. You know, it's not our fault that we can't work.
And President Donald Trump is expected to sign the deal into law. The earliest Americans could expect to see those checks would be January. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News in Washington.
The time right now is 4:34. Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its continued impact on our state. This morning, the state health department reports nearly 6,600 new coronavirus cases. More than 120,000 new cases have been recorded since the beginning of December. Health officials also report 53 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. An average of 65 Hoosiers have died with the virus each day this month. As people debate whether or not to get vaccinated, physicians are urging anyone who can get vaccinated to do so. Dr. Miracle Anokite is a neurosurgery resident at IU Health. He received the vaccine last week. He says he didn't hesitate because the vaccine has a much higher effectiveness rate compared to other vaccines. He says so far he has had no symptoms. This morning he really hopes African Americans take him at his word.
Those who are debating whether or not to get the vaccine, please get the vaccine, especially for those in the African American population. The healthcare system has not been kind to the African American population and also to the minority population. We have the blight in medical history and in African American history and history of humanity with the Tuskegee experiments. And this puts a lot of African Americans, puts them in a place where they're afraid of the medical system and new medications and new drugs and new vaccines and new treatments that come in from the scientific community. Rightly so, they should be. But this is not Tuskegee. This vaccine is something that can help stave off the pandemic that is rampaging through the communities of African Americans, Blacks, Latinos, and other minorities as well. To better protect yourself and to better protect the people around you, please go ahead and get this vaccine.
The Marion County Health Department has already been working with partners in the Black, Hispanic, and other communities during this response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Officials say their focus has now turned to answering questions and addressing concerns about the vaccines. And a second federal inmate scheduled for execution in Terre Haute has tested positive for the coronavirus. Lawyers for Corey Johnson confirmed his diagnosis on Friday, just one day after fellow death row inmate Dustin John Higgins tested positive. In 1992, Johnson was convicted of killing 7 people who he perceived as a threat to his drug trafficking ring. This morning, Johnson's lawyers are calling on federal authorities to strike his execution date. 3 federal executions are scheduled for the week of January 12th, including Johnson and Higgins. The coronavirus pandemic, it's getting a lot of attention, but as a reminder, it is still the flu season. And so this morning, state health officials report the second flu-related death of the season. The victim was between the ages of 50 and 64 years old. The first flu-related death in Indiana was reported the week of November 9th. This morning, flu activity remains minimal in our state. It is 4:37. The state fire marshal has identified 2 men killed in a mobile home fire in Franklin County earlier this month. The fire started just before 2 o'clock in the morning in Brookville on December 9th. Police say 56-year-old David Estridge and 50-year-old Ron Emery died in that fire. After the fire was out, investigators learned that the home's only heat source was a wood stove. This morning, investigators do not think any criminal activity is connected to that fire. 2 young men and 3 teenagers from Indianapolis continue to recover following a serious crash out in Hendricks County. The crash happened in Plainfield along US 40 last Wednesday. The boys were on their way to celebrate a birthday when they were rear-ended at a stoplight and then hit by a semi. The family says at least 2 were thrown from the car, including 15-year-old Jermaine, who was not wearing a seatbelt. We spoke with Jermaine's mother from the hospital where he and another boy remain this morning. She says the boys have a long road ahead of them.
It was heartbreaking to see. For me to walk in a hospital and see my baby in a neck brace with blood pretty much from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet is a little overwhelming for any parent to see. To see my oldest son, because he kind of felt like he was the one that wanted to take the boys out for the birthday party. When I looked him in his eyes, I seen the hurt in his eyes because he felt like they got hurt on his time. You know, so it's going to be a long process. It's going to be some healing going on and a long recovery road, but we are down for it.
After hearing about the crash, the principal of Edison School of the Arts started a GoFundMe page to raise money for his medical bills.
All I knew was that he was in an accident and a semi truck hit them. And so I panicked and called Mom and I'm like, is he alive? Like, everybody at the building was just like, is he alive? Is he going to be okay? I just thought, what can we do to help? But Edison, we're a family, and we're the cool cats. And so I said, once a cool cat, you're always a cool cat.
It's just so much love, so much love. I mean, from people that I didn't even realize had my phone number still. I mean, like, teachers from 3 years ago are calling me about Jermaine, so I greatly appreciate all the love and the support that y'all giving to my sons.
We do have a link to that GoFundMe page in this story on the WRTV News app if you'd like to help that family out. Well, 2 Central Indiana college football teams will be making bowl appearances. Our own Brad Brown details their destinations coming up after the break. Plus, here comes a whole lot of babies this morning when hospitals are expecting an increase in births. Alyssa.
And we are going to be pretty close to average, above average, actually, about 10 degrees today and tomorrow and Wednesday. And then just in time for the holiday, those temperatures take a plunge. I'll have all the details on that and chances of snow in the forecast. That's all coming up.
Welcome back. The time right now is 4:43. Here's a live look at I-69. This is up near State Road 37 in Hamilton County. Good morning to you. You can see traffic there very quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads as you're heading out the door this Monday morning and let you know if there are any trouble spots you need to avoid. So the IU football team has learned that they'll be playing in a bowl game, but it's not nearly what the Hoosiers had hoped for after winning 6 of the 7 games in the regular season. This morning, our Brad Brown tells us where they're heading and the opponent that's in store.
It was by many measures one of the best seasons in IU football history. They went 6-1. Only loss was by a single score to Big Ten champ Ohio State. Indiana finished 7th in the final AP Top 25, but evidently it was not enough to make one of the big New Year's 6 bowl games. Indiana will play in the Outback Bowl on January 2nd. That game in Tampa, a homecoming of sorts for IU head coach Tom Allen. The Hoosiers will take on Ole Miss, a team that went just 4-5 in the SEC this season. At number 7, IU is the highest-ranked team ever to not make a New Year's 6 bowl. SEC runner-up Florida and Big 12 runner-up Iowa State got spots in the Cotton and Fiesta Bowls, despite being ranked behind Indiana. Ball State is also going to a bowl game. The Cardinals will face Mountain West champ San Jose State in the Arizona Bowl. That game is set for New Year's Eve out west. It's BSU's first bowl appearance since 2013. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Brad, thank you. This morning, President Trump is encouraging supporters to protest in Washington on January 6th. That's the day Congress is counting the electoral votes. In a tweet sent just before 2 Saturday morning, the president wrote, quote, "Be there, will be wild," unquote. The president included a link to a Washington Examiner story about a 36-page report alleging election fraud. The report, written by White House advisor Peter Navarro, alleges election fraud more than sufficient to swing victory to Trump. Twitter added a tag on the president's tweet stating, quote, "Election officials have certified Joe Biden as the winner of the U.S. presidential election," end quote. It is 4:46 and this morning doctors are preparing for a baby boom due to the COVID-19 pandemic. One practice in Buffalo, New York is seeing a lot more pregnant patients lately, and they predict hospitals will be very busy in the coming months. Typically, the practice in New York delivers about 50 babies monthly. Starting in 2021, they're expecting to welcome 80 new babies each month.
Oh boy, yeah. Starting the first of the year, all the way through June, I think we're going to have a really big increase in deliveries. The hospital is going to be quite busy.
More deliveries means more hospital beds, but with hospitals filling up with coronavirus patients, that's a real concern. The good news is the doctors say the virus does not affect fetuses, but it can cause preterm labor. At 4:46, the holiday travel rush seems to be starting despite the pandemic. According to TSA, more than 1 million people were screened on both Friday and Saturday. TSA officials say that this is the first time since the pandemic began that more than 1 million people were screened on consecutive days. The numbers hint at an early rush for holiday air travel, something the CDC warned against the week prior to Thanksgiving. On November 29th, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, nearly 1.2 million people flew. But back here at home, we want to get a look at our forecast for today and for the week ahead as we're heading into the holiday. Alyssa, what can Hoosiers here expect?
You know what? It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster week when it comes to weather. Today, we are going to see the potential of some quick precipitation. Besides that, though, a dry day today and tomorrow, and then we have some more wet weather on the way just as we head into the holidays. Right now, it's 38 degrees in Indianapolis. Cloudy skies, feels like about 30 degrees, and that's partially due to those winds right now out of the southwest, about 14 miles per hour. Those are going to pick up as we head into the afternoon. Visibility at 9 miles. We could see a little bit more patchy fog develop as we head through the morning hours as well. What's going on is we have this clipper system that's moving down from the north. That's going to move into Indiana in the next couple hours here. So it's just starting to approach the Indiana-Illinois border, moving into Champaign. So we will start seeing that along I-74 shortly here. That's only going to fall in the form of some quick hit and miss showers across the area. Likely we'll see those by about 9 or 10 a.m. in the metro, and then we'll see them only lasting, again, hit and miss showers until just after the noon hour. After that, that's going to pull all that cloud coverage that we have this morning out of the area as well, and we'll see mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. Temperatures today were about 10 degrees above average, and we're going to stay that way as we start to see those winds start to shift and become more southerly and then westerly. That's going to help pull some warmer air into the area as we head into the afternoon as well. Those wind gusts, though, close to 30 miles per hour this afternoon, so you'll definitely notice that when you step outside. The next couple days are going to be quiet Tuesday and most of Wednesday, and then by Wednesday afternoon, we have our next setup. That's going to be ahead of a cold front, bringing us some wet showers into the area Wednesday afternoon. As it leaves the area, possibility of some rain snow mix on the tail end of that just in time for Christmas Eve. It does not look like at this point that we are going to have a white Christmas, because behind that we are just going to see dry and cold air moving in. So we're going to see this mild air move out. Cold air is going to settle in behind that. Temperatures are going to be in the 50s Wednesday, and then we are dropping way off 24 degrees by Christmas Day. And those morning lows going to be even colder in the 12 to 14 range. So it is going to be a cold start to Christmas Day. Temperatures only climbing into the 20s. So here's a look at our 7-day forecast. 46 for our high today. Those chances of showers move through mid-morning and into the early afternoon. Chance we won't all see them as well because they're really going to be spotty in nature. And then we are going to stay pretty warm until Wednesday before that cold front starts to pass, bringing us that slight chance of snow showers Thursday. Very chilly by Christmas Day.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. Here's a live look at I-465 over on the west side of town. This is near West 38th Street. You can see traffic there moving northbound and southbound along 465 is traveling up to speed. Pretty quiet out there this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated. So let's take it down to Johnson County. This is I-65 at Main Street in Greenwood. Camera freezing up just a bit here, but I can tell you everything's traveling smoothly. No major delays to slow down your commute this Monday morning. At 4:50, vaping flavors can damage the heart and lungs. That's according to researchers at the University of South Florida. Researchers found that the chemicals in flavored vapes damages the heart's ability to beat properly. Scientists used 3 popular vaping flavors on this test on mice. They say the solvents interfered with the heart's ability to beat correctly, and adding nicotine caused even more damage. A third test added flavoring. Researchers say that caused the most damage to the heart and its ability to beat in rhythm. This morning, wildfire smoke continues to fill the air to our west. And you might remember this summer, we even felt the effects of the wildfires here in Indiana. Remember those hazy skies? Well, now scientists from the University of Idaho say that bacteria making people sick can survive and be transported by smoke plumes. Researchers found the potentially dangerous particles were in the air prior to the wildfires, meaning that they survived the spread with smoke. They say more research is needed on the damage the particles can cause to humans. An Indianapolis teenager getting the opportunity to warm up with some of his favorite Colts players on Sunday. Coming up, how the blue and white use technology to make this socially distant workout possible. And the pandemic is making it difficult for some Hoosiers to put food on their table. Coming up, all new at 5 o'clock, how a soup kitchen out in Hancock County is working hard to feed people this holiday season. Good morning to you in Avon, Anderson, and Attica. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. More news, weather, and traffic coming right up. Welcome back. It is 4:56 here on our Monday. Let's take a look at traffic up on the north side. This is I-465 and Westfield Boulevard, where traffic's moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound this morning. No delays, no crashes in this area to slow you down, but of course we'll keep you updated. So a 14-year-old Riley kid from right here in Indianapolis helping the Colts warm up for Sunday's game in a socially distant way, of course. Because of COVID-19, the visitors aren't allowed on the sidelines at Lucas Oil Stadium, so that's why Michael Haley joined the Horseshoe via robot. Michael was diagnosed with a brain cancer 3 years ago, and he had surgery to remove a plum-sized tumor. Michael says that his favorite players are Kenny Moore, T.Y. Hilton, and Phillip Rivers. Very cool. The robot even has a jersey on, Alyssa. How about that?
That's pretty neat. You can't beat that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Today is going to be a bit of a dicey day. We're starting out okay this morning, and then we are going to see a chance of some showers move in mid-morning into the early afternoon. These are just going to be spotty, quick showers, and then we're going to clear out later today with breezy conditions and mostly sunny skies to end our day. 46 for the high. Temperatures warm up into the 50s by midweek. Then we drop back off just in time for the holiday. Christmas Day, 24 degrees for our daytime high. It's going to be cold. The good news is we are going to see some sunshine. However, not likely going to see a white Christmas. I'll have more details coming up next. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.